All right, so this is my uncle. He's a lawyer. I've thought about this before. I mean, when we have like questions and want some confirmation.
Yeah, this is.
He's been around a long time, decades and decades in the Cook County legal system, navigating it. Running he was his own firm for a long time and stuff, and
okay.
blah blah blah. And so yeah, he's
he's in the know.
He knows all the ins and outs of all this stuff, and it came to my mind that we should give him a call because of the vaccine mandate, and that's been going around, and a lot of people are not sure what to make of it.
Yeah, like how the legalities surrounding that even
is it enforceable?
Yeah,
what is likely to happen? What does it mean? How legitimate is it? Yeah. So let's give him a call.
Ring him up. All right, about to be on the line, Uncle.
Watch, she doesn't
Dennis.
answer. This actually, he has a history of not answering his phone. Hopefully,
that'd be hilarious.
But, yeah, just keep kind of just waxing on it. Like, so, anyways, hello.
Hello,
Uncle Dennis.
Yes.
Hey. What's going
Hello,
on?
Vinnie's Uncle Dennis.
Yeah, you're on the. This
as far as I know, I am.
I was gonna say, I think I'll just call you Dennis.
This is my as far as he knows, we're not actually broadcasting anything.
Yeah, we're just sitting at home,
just sitting around having delusions.
So am I. I mean,
yeah, we're all on a lot of medication.
Yeah, well, well, thank you for doing this, man.
Yeah, this is my friend Tom talking to you too.
Yeah, well, Tom, I don't know how much I'm going to do, but okay.
No, but it's fun. You know, if we're just.
Yeah.
I think you're going to do more than we will when it comes to legalities. I think I would be safe in saying that.
Perhaps.
I mean, we've got you beat in illegalities, I'm sure.
Maybe. But, yeah. I don't know. You know, he probably knows the ins and outs, though. Look.
Well, that's what's kept me in business for.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what's going on with the vaccine mandate? They can't really do anything about this, can they? Or how real is this?
Okay, so here's the deal with the vaccines. All this is going to be up in the Supreme Court if it isn't already. And so the first issue, legal issue, has to do whether the federal government can impose mandates people to have vaccines. So there's a distinction here between the federal government and the state governments. If you look back, there's two principal Supreme Court cases that have governed the situation. And from 1905, actually, when they had the smallpox vaccine, there was a case in Massachusetts that there was a state law and a local health advisory that they compelled people to get the smallpox vaccine. That case went up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court of the United States held that the states have a police power, not the federal government.
Okay.
The states have a police power and an ability to enact laws to provide for public safety.
On a state level only.
On a state level.
Okay.
So it has to do with the constitutionality of whether, or the constitutional understanding, I should say, is which powers are attributed to the states and which powers are attributed to the federal government. So the Supreme Court of the United States has said, look, the case was Jacobson versus Massachusetts, and it says this is okay. This is a proper enactment of state power by a state. There was one other case that was enacted and it was followed, but this Jacobson case is the principal case, and this is what they're going to be arguing now.
And is this is going to the Supreme Court now, though, right?
Oh, it's all.
It's in there. I mean, this is
all over.
Yeah,
from all over. I mean, they're going to have their hands full.
Yeah.
But what happened with these mandates now that are being imposed, like on private business, all these companies with, if you have 100 or more employees, everybody's got to get vaccinated, et cetera. All right. So the way that the Biden administration is doing this is they're going under a provision of the OSHA Act, which is the Occupational Safety Act. That principally has to do with providing a safe workplace. But what what they're trying to do on a federal level, they have called this an emergency temporary standard. And the authority that they are using in order to enact these is that there is a grave danger and the need to protect people. So that's the issue in the Supreme Court, whether or not
It's an
federal
OSHA.
government
Okay.
can go under OSHA
I see.
and impose these federal standards. All right. Now, there's all kinds of other issues, too.
I'm
I
sure.
mean, there's many, many constitutional issues, the 10th Amendment, Commerce Clause. There's all these other constitutional that you could spend days, and there's hundreds of pages of articles written about all this. But to me, the bottom line is, does the federal government have authority to do this? Does the federal government have authority to mandate that people wear masks? Look, if they have the power to mandate that, they have the power to just about do anything.
Yeah, that was actually, to me, I'm sorry, I don't mean to catch up, but yeah, that one seemed a little bit more, because that one's so vague and the science around it, like, vaccination is more of a, obviously that's an established science. We know whether or not these vaccinations are what they were said to be, or, as effective as whatever.
But
these
also don't even really seem to be vaccines.
But aside from that, the mask thing seemed to be, this whole time to me, it was they've wavered on it so much that that one was one of the points that I saw. If they can do this, that seems to be a real kind of carte blanche. Just we can just mandate anything that we, you know what I mean? That's
how you end up in a dystopic future, like everybody wearing Star Trek outfits in gray and stuff.
Dude, I look good in silver. I look okay in silver, so I'm okay with it.
Right. Yeah.
I'm gonna go land.
I hope I'm gone before that.
Yeah.
Well, it's not gonna happen if you hope so. So let's just be honest.
But so what is it?
Well, yeah, the mask thing is really, really out there. But the vaccine thing, look, I'm a lot older than you guys, and my understanding of a vaccine was like, okay, polio vaccine. If you're calling it a vaccine, it means that once you take this shot, you are no longer susceptible to the illness.
Yes.
What we have here is a therapeutic. That's all this
exactly.
is. And now it's finally coming to light.
That's what I was confused about too. Is like, what?
Well, yeah. I mean, and also I do understand that at the beginning. Now, let me throw a caveat in here. I think it was sort of known, and if without putting a tinfoil hat on, there's a lot of money to be made, blah, 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 whatever. There's a money trail to follow, possibly. But I think that, even giving, accepting good faith arguments on that side, I think, maybe, there would be an argument to be made, oh, well, we didn't know, if it was going to be, 100% effective or whatever, and we thought that it was going to. And like you say, now I think it's coming to light that it's just not what we were told it was going to be, and what apparently people thought it was going to be. But in that light, then where do you go from there? Because if it's not an effective vaccine, and now I do also know that they kind of rewrote the definition of vaccine, sort of to fit the new this. What we have now, this therapy, like you say, this
that's
therapeutic.
right. I forgot about that. Yeah. That didn't seem as significant at the time when I didn't understand the significance of it at the time.
Yeah.
When I saw that. Yeah. Well, you know what? You know what I wanted to ask before I forget, and want to hit what I figure he would be able to answer is what is the reality of they're calling, like you said, they're calling it a mandate, and that mandate is by nature temporary, right? It's all contingent on like some kind of declaration of emergency. So what does it look like? Who if say there's a restaurant that just goes, fuck that, you can come here no matter what, we're not going to check anything, we don't give a shit. What is it? What is the reality of any enforcement, of a mandate?
Well, that's kind of funny you mention that, because I was just talking to a guy who has a restaurant in the old Italian neighborhood down there, and when these mandates started, he kind of laughed. He says, "Yeah, they came in. It's in the city of Chicago,
Yeah.
and I was paying $1,500 a week as fines. After 3 weeks, they finally gave up."
Yeah.
And he said, "They're not. It's completely unenforceable.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not realistic. It's a scare tactic."
Yeah.
But getting back to the vaccine, I think there's one. You know what happens with these cases is they get so complex, and people kind of lose sight of what are we actually talking
Yeah.
about.
What's the argument at
Okay,
hand?
so
Sure.
what the actual argument is?
It's like you can't see
I
the
think,
forest
is
from the
that,
woods.
is it lawful for the federal government to utilize the OSHA Act to
No.
enact these mandates? And the
Yeah.
issue becomes, is this grave danger? Is it
Oh,
grave
no.
danger?
Are you in? Yeah.
And the longer this goes on,
Yeah, we
the
see.
more it appears that it's not a grave danger.
Yeah.
I mean, the more it appears that, okay, for example, if we have therapeutics that the federal government has developed and is holding on to,
Yes,
or
monoclonal
that there's
antibodies.
some kind of an understanding with the medical world that we're not going to allow these things to be used, whatever it is. I'm not a conspiracy.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
theorist,
But yeah.
whatever it is, it's tending to show this is not grave danger. This is an illness,
Yes.
you know.
And
So
some
what's to
people will
say
die,
that,
and
you know,
it was a novel
alcohol,
illness at the beginning.
Who's to say that abusive alcoholics working in a packing plant aren't just as dangerous as this? You know,
That's a
whatever
good
the
point.
hell you
Yeah.
wanna
Yeah. Yeah.
call
No,
it.
I see what you're saying.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's all sorts of other dangers in the workplace that, man,
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
could
there's-
be grave danger.
Or
Somebody
like a race
using,
car driver
you
with
know,
carpal tunnel syndrome.
Yeah. Or no, honestly
somebody
though,
using
you're
heroin, you know. I mean,
yeah, they're not. Yeah, I do understand, or I've been sort of not concerned because I understand that this shit happens all the time, but I've been aware that they're just not taking into consideration externalities, which, you know, if anyone knows, you know, anytime you have some sort of, any sort of, how do you say that? But there's always going to be externalities. You know what I mean? That are unplanned for and are seen as not really connected to it, but clearly can be traced back to it. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, of course, there's going to be all of these unplanned for sort of externalities. Which, where would that, like, legally, do those get brought into? I mean, it has to, right? That has to be in the conversation.
The states, you have to. We all have to understand that under the Supreme Court decision, the states have the power to enact laws to protect the public that are like the smallpox thing.
Sure.
That they're designed to protect the public health. States can do that. Why? Because the states have the police power in that way. You know, when this whole thing started, all these states were sovereigns, and they all had the police power to
do whatever they want. Yeah, for sure.
The federal government can't come in and say, you know, okay, we're going to do this.
Yeah, I mean that was the whole idea.
There's the 10th Amendment.
Yeah.
All the powers
Yes.
not given to the federal government
That's the 10th
are
Amendment.
given to the states. That's what this all is.
Yeah. That makes sense. And
That's
also,
why
that was the whole
government now
idea.
is they're trying to go around it with this OSHA deal.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is one of the things that's going to be argued. Number one,
This
whether
is like
the
one of
federal
those
government
Bureau
can-
of Land Management type of things where it's just a way to like bypass, you know,
Yeah.
things that are supposed to be protected. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
But I mean, it's an interesting.
I just hadn't said
it's a
anything
very
for a while.
interesting argument. It's as complex as you want it to be.
Yeah, no, it
And
sounds
this
like
is-
it's going to be a shit show in the
It is
in the
It
courts.
already is.
I would hate to. Now, let me ask you this: is this something that you, with your, I don't know what your like legal background is, obviously attorney, but I'm saying I don't know what your, what avenue of law is. But is this something that you would be, you know what I mean, like involved in? Not that you're going to go,
no.
but I'm saying this is not something, because I know like some people are patent lawyers, some people are, business lawyers, some people are
this
whatever.
This is out of my.
This is not
this
something
out
that
of
you
my,
would be, not that
no,
you're
but
going to
it's
be
an
called
interesting-
on, but.
No, but it's an interesting thing.
Oh,
that,
for sure.
I mean, you just don't practicing law. You just don't have the time to devote to all these
To everything. Yeah,
ivory
there's so
tower,
many. There's so many
know,
different.
these arguments. But it's interesting, and the layperson can really understand it if you took the time to. There's so many articles out there now, and information and podcasts, whatever that explain these things.
Educational
and they
shows
explain
like
both
ours.
sides.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much information out there that, wow.
I know it's almost. It's overwhelming for most people, though. That's one of the
sensory
problems. Is
overload.
it is, and there's like a real disconnect between.
Well, I think we're finding the limit of facts you can hold in your head at a time too.
Oh yeah,
because
we definitely are.
We didn't used to know, but every 5 years it cycles out for me.
I don't remember who you are.
You keep learning new stuff, and I can't remember.
Who's this
yeah.
caller?
Right? Yeah. Who are we talking to again?
Yeah, who is this? I've already forgotten. No.
What else did we want to know about the vaccine mandate, though?
That was.
I don't know. I know a lot of people that are worried about it. And
well, no, that was kind of.
But is it something that's sort of a precursor to a
more authoritarian state? That's the thing is like if they were able to use this OSHA kind of wedge to get in there. Does that then open the door for a lot of other shit that the federal government could do?
Yeah, if they
could
get away
lord
with
over state. You know what I mean? Could supersede the state's authority on.
What you're suggesting is that the administrative branch.
Yeah.
It's not even a branch, but the administrative elements of this government are so powerful, and they're so expansive, and people don't even understand. I mean, how many thousands of pages of administrative rules exist that people don't even know that are being passed by people that are not elected.
Oh, yeah, that's insane. I agree.
So this is the problem. And,
yes, it's a huge fucking problem.
People are fighting this, and it's like trying to catch your shadow. So,
which I did once, by the way.
This is an important case. I mean, you're right. This is an introduction to, some kind of totalitarian.
Yeah, like a totalitarian.
They could make an excuse to do anything. So the people have to.
So it is a worthy. It is a worthy fight to be in. This is the thing is like I think a lot of people because it's obviously been there's a fissure. We've seen two sides. There's an obvious divide.
Yeah. Which is strange in this country.
It's very weird.
That's never happened.
That's never happened. But no, so then the people on the one side are sort of justified in looking at this, in a leery way where they're just like, I don't know, because So then, I mean, what you just said, kind of, because if you can just shoehorn the federal government into superseding state law, state authorities. But that's not.
Well,
that doesn't work.
I think there's a lot of examples where they've done that, right? Or no.
I mean, I don't know about here.
This year. Well, a lot too is it's a similar argument having to do with this Voting Rights Act.
Okay.
And the states are intended to pass their own laws with respect to what are the requirements to vote. And this act that's on the table now, as I understand it, is they're going to federalize the whole voting process across the board. And that's a very, very dangerous thing to do because as far as I'm concerned, anything the federal government runs gets screwed up. All right?
Oh, I 100% agree.
The very process of electing people to office is going to be centralized.
Yeah, I don't like the sound of it. I didn't like the sound of it.
It was never intended like that when this country was founded. Never. It was never intended. For example, when it started, there was religious freedom. So let's say Maryland was a Catholic state.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to raise your children in that way, you moved from Virginia to Maryland.
Yes, that's true.
You moved to Delaware.
Yeah, see, I don't think a lot of people understand why that was originally there, and that is an odd fact though, because a lot of people don't understand
the ocean.
But really though, it was like it was to allow people to congregate with people that had beliefs and lifestyles or whatever that were akin to their own, and I don't think people understand why that
Yeah.
was the root of all of that.
It's also known as freedom of association.
Yeah.
Is another way to put it, right? I mean, I think.
I
That's
mean,
like
yeah, I
a,
suppose that's
That's what identity
You know,
politics people say, but
The general public is so busy just trying to
just live.
make ends meet, and
Yeah,
get by.
no, they can't. They
and-
don't have time to fuck around with.
No, they don't have time, and you're not. You really, it starts with education, and like, okay, you guys are talking about this now, and thinking about it, and doing really what the citizen is supposed to do. This
Well,
is what
thank
was
you.
designed, and I know it's hard for you guys to believe you're doing the right thing.
I was
but
going to say this is
know.
the first time I've ever been
Yeah.
praised really by somebody that's
I mean,
an adult.
don't take that to the bank. But
Well-
I mean, you're starting to edge toward that.
towards some semblance of civic responsibility.
Yeah. Well, I'm not
I mean,
gonna-
Well, I don't like using that word responsibility.
Yeah, we've got a
And the
long
same
way.
sentence with-
We've
yeah,
got a
the same
long way to
sentence
go
with you, Ben.
to kind of round the corner of civic karma.
Yeah.
We've
yeah.
got.
Oh
we're,
God.
we're gonna have.
I'll
to,
never dig myself out of that
You know,
deficit for sure.
We're gonna have to do all the good stuff that Al Capone used to do without.
I'm gonna become
without,
Jesse Ventura.
without killing anyone. That's.
I gotta do my civic duty as an American man and a Navy SEAL. That's what I have to
And
do.
that's our cross. That's our cross to bear.
That as well. I have several.
Yeah.
One of them is an actual cross. But yeah, no. This is interesting as shit. I love it.
Yeah. We also wanted to ask him about.
Yeah, if you don't mind. I mean, if you
Juicy
don't.
Smollett.
Yeah, because obviously, if you've been an attorney in the city of Chicago for a long time, and I'm
he's
sorry
in the
for
know.
yeah,
He knows
I'm
stuff. He
sorry
knows
for
people.
Taking this over, by the way.
No, it's fine. I don't
I'm
care.
very
Yeah,
interested.
that's fine.
But yeah, what did you think of the whole?
I talk to him all the time.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I don't.
bored of this.
So I just get to talk to him now. What did you think of the Jussie Smollett, the whole trial? Well, I mean, the whole fiasco to begin with. Were you like aware? I mean, obviously, I'm sure you were aware of it, but were you like?
I worked in the criminal system for maybe 7, 8, 9 years or something, but really extensively for 6 years.
Okay.
And that offense that he was charged with is a Class 4 felony.
Okay.
And basically, in real layman's terms, like for example, if you do things like, let's say that you keep calling.
I probably do.
911. You called 911. You keep calling. You keep calling. You keep calling. And
Just
for whatever
doing that.
reason, maybe you have an unrealistic belief that
Sure, you're
you need
yeah,
the police,
schizophrenic or
or
something
you
like that,
wanna
and you just
fool around with it. Okay, so the police come out. That's a felony, and it's a felony because you have all these first responders. I mean, you guys have seen, police cars and
Oh, I have,
ambulances.
yes.
They racing down these busy streets. There are a lot of accidents that occur. So the idea is to preclude or persuade people that this is a very dangerous thing to do. Okay. And the example I gave of calling 911 is not dissimilar to what happened here. What happened here was that
yeah.
there was he created a felony that was simply not occurring, which caused the police to come, which caused the state's attorneys to go into
I think the
action,
most
which
insulting
caused all these detectives to do all this work. So my point is this:
that part of it's funny.
in that statute, it allows the city or the state to go after the perpetrator for the costs that were associated with
Yeah.
their misconduct. And whoa, I mean, I don't know how. I read about it somewhere about how much money was paid to these detectives that ultimately unraveled.
we're there for nothing. And now
it
let's
was- it
can
was
we
an
all
embarrassing thing for the state's attorney because, look, let's say that you have a client that does one thing like this. Let's say, I don't know.
Just
make
pretend
up
it's me.
something, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's one incident.
I
You
did
go
this.
to court-
I pretended that a
you go to
group of
court,
ladies beat me up.
Or you could use one of the
Okay.
many times you've defended me as an example.
You'd go to court, and the chances are that you'd get a deal similar, maybe not identical, but similar to the one that Smollett got initially. It was just one of those deals where we're just going to, put this under the rug, and we're going to get rid of this quietly, and so forth and so on. Well, it was so overt, as I understand it, this deal, that somebody, dropped a dime on somebody, and they said, "Wait a minute, this high-profile thing, we can't just let this go." So
Yeah.
it went to the court, and they decided they're going to, appoint the special prosecutor because the state's attorney's office was allegedly involved.
Yeah, it was compromised in a
I'm
way.
going to call it a cover-up, but whatever you want to
Yeah,
call it.
it was a friend of a friend or something. I remember this. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that look, that
appointed-
happens. That happens
They appointed the special prosecutor,
not routinely,
Dan
but
Webb.
yeah.
Dan Webb, who's a terrific prosecutor. And in my mind, once he got appointed, I thought, uh-oh. That's it.
Smollett
There's
is
no way.
fucked.
There's no way.
Yeah.
And this was so ridiculous. I mean,
Well, that's what I was
they
going to
had-
say. Can we all just stop for 2 seconds and just appreciate how hilarious his
That's
story
what
was?
That's the most insulting part of the whole thing is that
It was so
didn't
bad.
he didn't even bother to have a good plan.
No.
It was the most half-baked.
He hired
shit, you
two
know?
giant gay Nigerians to pretend that they were Trump.
Yeah.
Trump.
Yeah, with MAGA. It's MAGA
Yeah.
hats.
It was the
Yeah.
idea of
And
somebody
then wore a
who's-
noose on body cam until the police were finally like, "Hey,
Why are you still wearing
you
that? Yeah,
you gonna
what-
take that
you
off?"
take
He's
that
like,
off?
"Oh,
I thought it was evidence."
should I?"
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, motherfucker, take it. What are you doing?
And
On what planet would somebody believe this?
Yeah,
I mean,
I just remember first seeing that, and just I was just like, "Oh, this is gonna be fun.
And-
This is gonna be fun. We're gonna all get to watch some stupid shit."
yeah, you knew it. You knew immediately, and we've seen so many of those because the old show that we did, we used to cover these a lot, and I've seen a lot of these where it was just every single time there's one of these real like it's like somebody spray paints swastikas on a Jewish
Yeah.
church or something. It always turns out to be somebody from that fucking
Yeah, some
church
kid that,
trying
like, just fucking around. Yeah,
or
yeah.
no, somebody trying to make.
Make it like create a fucking
Create a
yeah, yeah.
controversy
Yeah, yeah.
and look at the right wing people.
And look, I'm
We've
not a
seen it-
fan
I've
of the
seen it
right wing. I don't
1,000
give a
times.
shit.
Well, those
But-
terms don't even mean.
But you know what I mean.
anything,
But yeah,
whatever.
yeah. But it's just like it sounds like it always sounds like me and Vinny here are like some sort of partisan hacks or something like that, and really not. We're just hacks.
Yeah,
We're just hacks. Plain
We're
old
just,
hacks.
just plain hacks. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it for any point of view.
Yeah, I don't
whatever.
care.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Well,
so
Dennis,
when you
man,
leave-
do you have any?
when you leave tonight, leave your MAGA hats on the hook.
Yeah. I have a keychain. Mine's a keychain. It's very mobile.
Depending on what neighbors are outside, we've got Biden and Trump hats
Yeah.
that we might put on.
I have a buy dump. I have a buy dump.
All right. Well, thanks, Uncle Dennis.
Yeah, this was awesome,
all right,
man.
well,
Do you have any other radical views you'd like to espouse before we let you go?
I have a lot of radical views I'm going to keep to myself.
Yeah.
Right,
All
yeah.
right. Well, hey, man, this was awesome. Thank you for doing this.
All right. You're
Um,
welcome. And, have a good night.
all right, you too, brother.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks,
See you
man.
later. Thank
Bye.
you.
Hey,
Okay.
that was good.
Yeah, I told you. Well, so a lawyer is always used to speaking and presenting an idea, and
Yeah, he
you know what
has
I mean,
to.
he could talk for probably 45 minutes. Just,
I know.
on his own. Well, he almost just did, pretty much.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I was just trying to get a couple things in there.
I
But
know.
no, that was
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
Yeah, he's great. That's my uncle. He's a cool guy. Yeah,
But also salt of the earth kind of a lawyer.
right. He's very well. I mean, he's great.
I like those lawyers where they're like,
He's the type of guy like he has seen, like he was saying, he started out young. I think whatever, working for the court system in some capacity. I forget
what,
exactly
like
what he did.
6 or 2?
When he no,
How
when he was,
young?
When he was right out of kindergarten, university. What was that thing I said before?
He was
Yeah.
still shitting like a fawn.
But no, so he did all that stuff, and then ran. He was a defense lawyer for decades and decades. I mean, like
Yeah.
you just see the
dude,
you
that's-
see the worst
yeah.
shit so much that eventually like nothing phases you.
Yeah, you have a
he
different,
just is,
and also just a different understanding of all of the shit. Like,
yeah.
I equate